What's up, everybody? We are back with episode number 289.
You bet.
289. So we apologize for last week. We had a few issues. For one, I was throwing up, so that was not fun. But I would have probably pushed through it if not for the fact that we had an issue with StreamYard,
Technology.
which is the technology. Basically, we had to switch accounts over from Metal Rob to us. So because Metal Rob's not doing the show anymore, and he was paying for it before, so that's the deal. Straight up, blunt. What is what it is.
Yeah, and you know who's paying for it now? Let's just make the announcement. We have a
Go for it. We have a new sponsor, and the new sponsor generously paid for a whole year for us, and that sponsor would be
Stall Cup Law in Dallas, Texas. Brett Stallcup is a longtime friend, and he is a music collector like us. He's not quite into the heavier stuff like we are, but you know, if you get into the realm of Deep Purple, Aerosmith, and what have you, then he's right there by our side. So, but we appreciate him stepping up. He's like I said, he's been a longtime friend, and I asked him if he. I also do a podcast with him called Choices that comes out every Thursday morning on your drive to work. So you might want to check that out. But anyway, mad props to Brett for stepping up and Stall Cup Law. And if you ever need superior legal advice or assistance, man, that guy is a stone cold killer. He's the guy you want on your team.
Right on. And he will be sponsoring. Basically, he's going to sponsor the picks of the week every week. So
on.
Remember,
we'll have a graphic up for him soon.
Yeah, you'll have to remember that. Okay, so hey, what's up, guys? We have a lot of people joining in. There's Blackmore Rules.
Blackmore Rule is going to be so happy by my pick of the week. He's going to be elated.
Is it going to be Led Zeppelin?
It's. I promise he'll be happy. That's all I can say.
Greg? What's up, Tony?
Donnie and Marie.
Damien Hair Metal here, Mr. Pickle. So yeah, right on. People are joining in quickly here. So all right, well, let's get into it then. You guys got any shout-outs you want to do before we get into the show?
Let's just jump into it. I'm good.
I got one I want to do.
Do it.
But do you got anything, Kev?
No, I don't have nothing.
John?
No, I gave it. Stall Cup Law.
Dallas, okay, well, mine is the Creeper is shipping.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I got my copy in the mail. So, and apparently other people got their copies coming in the mail. So there was only 200 copies pressed, I believe. Is that right, John?
Yes.
200 copies.
Mm-hmm.
And the band took a good chunk of those. So if you want to get one,
20.
You better get them quick because the vinyl's not going to be around very long.
Yeah, they took 20. They had their CD release party on Halloween, couple weeks ago, and did real well at the merch table. And it was in a small, cramped little place, but it was packed to the nines. And Creeper is Creeper. They're great. They're great live, especially. And I think the album captures that live feel.
It's definitely a heavy album. It's got a lot of groove. Vocals are kind of. I don't know how to describe his vocals. They're kind of sung, but they're also kind of. I don't know.
They have a very unique sound. They have a modern sound, but yet they harken back to some of the old school riffing and.
I think their rhythm section sound is old school and with kind of a modern vocal to it.
Yeah,
it reminds me of the singer from Disciple from times. You guys remember Disciple?
I don't remember that band.
I remember the band. I don't remember the sound.
He sounds like an improved older version of Tex Duncan. Oh wait, that's who it is. Anyway,
right on. Well, but I was just excited that this came in the mail. But also, if anybody's interested, the Rocks Records, Christmas That Rocks came out, and it's all bands either covering Christmas songs or writing their own Christmas songs. And this is volume 4, and it's got everything from kind of acoustic Christmas stuff to straight up death metal Christmas stuff on here. So. And then we even got a BBC recording of Louis Cardenas with the London Philharmonic doing Midnight Sleigh Ride, which is kind of fun and interesting. Louis Cardenas is on the Rocks label. So, but yeah, anyhow, if anybody's interested, also the No Life Till Metal Volume 5 comp just came out, and it's like $4. on the store if anybody's interested. And it's probably got 6 or 7 exclusive tracks, but there's 14 tracks total. So anyhow, that's my shout out, which is not really a shout out. It's more of a plug in the labels, but it is what it is. Here's a question for everybody before we start. Does Metal Church qualify for thrash?
I think
That
first
first
album
metal
does.
is the closest thing, but I've always just considered them U.S. power metal.
Me too. I've always considered them kind of the archetypes of U.S. power metal.
Power metal, yeah.
Oh, we got him. Shannon Fry from the mighty
Ready for
Avenger
some
of
hot
Blood.
sports opinions.
We got to mention Avenger of Blood every week. As soon as Shannon shows up, man, we mention Avenger of Blood.
I will
That is
say the
terrific.
song Metal Church has one of my favorite guitar riffs of all time, though.
And right on cue,
Which song?
Shannon Fry. No,
Metal-
Metal
that
Church
song
is
Metal
not
Church,
thrash.
yeah.
I didn't think so. I don't think so either. I mean, they had some
Yeah.
thrashy moments, like Ton of Bricks is pretty thrashy, but when
I know a
Ultimatum
thrash
recorded the
band
song,
that
we made it
covered
into
that
a thrash song. We took it into that thrash realm. But anyhow, all right. Well, let's get into it. So this is episode number 289. We're going to be doing 5 or 6, depending. We all picked 5, but we'll see how much time we have. Of
We all
our
picked
favorite
more than 5,
obscure,
let's be honest.
obscure thrash
Oh,
albums.
yeah, we did.
I'm going to try and keep this to an hour. That's what I'm going to try and do. So we'll see what we do. But
Okay.
so so probably you're not going to see Metallica or Anthrax on here, but
Let's hope not.
But anyhow, we'll just go around like we normally do, and we'll start with Steve, and then we'll go down to Kevin, then John, and I'll go last. And go ahead, Steve, you're up.
Are we
So
going
I
to have
figured
a
I'd
pick of the
start
week?
with the band that gave me
Oh,
the
I
idea.
forgot something. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I totally forgot.
I got to make Blackmore Rules this day.
Oh,
I
yeah,
forgot.
yeah.
I did. I'm sorry. Plus, that's our sponsor too, right? So we got to get into that right now. Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry.
okay. Welcome
I'm
to
sorry.
Carcass John's Pick of the Week, sponsored by Skull Cup Law in Dallas, Texas. All right, rock pick of the week from me.
That is the worst ever.
Deep Purple, made in Japan, and this is the Steven Wilson remix. And wow, what I thought that sounded great initially, but this really, really sounds good. It's
What is that? Is that the new version?
No, this is the DCC mix from a few years ago.
Yeah, this thing sounds really phenomenal. Of course, it already sounded great, but unfortunately, it's just the regular standard 2 album set, not the 5 album box set. But those are unavailable down in my neck of the woods. So if Blackmore Rules has any yank with somebody, anyway, help me out on that one. And then my metal pick of the week, I've been mulling this over, and I started at the very beginning of their catalog and watched their progression and the digression and the rehashing of things. But Immortal at the Heart of Winter, this thing is a punishing, riff raging, epic, ambient. I mean, when you listen to this record, you feel the cold icebergs and snow, and you feel like you're out on the North Sea and big gigantic waves. This thing tells a story just even with just the music, let alone the lyrics. So those are my 2 picks: Deep Purple, made in Japan, and Immortal at the Heart of Winter. Now let's get after the obscure thrash bands.
All right, go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, so again, I'm going to start it with the band that gave me the idea for the topic. I had been listening to a lot of, I was just listening to thrash for the last couple weeks, and this is one I pulled out that I hadn't listened to in probably a good decade. You can find this for relatively cheap, but this is Chicago's Quick Change.
Yep.
They had been around for a while when this came out. I think they got together in like 84, 85. This was 88. Always really liked this album.
Me too.
The main reason it didn't get big, though, is they're kind of an overkill ripoff, especially in the vocals. The rhythm section's fantastic, though. This is really killer thrash. Really dig the whole album, and it's definitely one to check out if you run across it. Again, it's not super expensive. You could probably find this for $15. So there you go. Chicago's Quick Change.
You're up, Kev.
Mine goes to the Lion with Killing the World from '88. And before this band was Talion, they were known as Trojan out of the UK. But I mean, they're basically the same members, maybe missing one, I think, in Talion. But this is absolutely a killer thrash album. Not a full-on thrash, but it is. I mean, it's mixes mostly thrash with some heavy metal influences. But and this is actually an original, which are hard to find. Now you can get their repress, which comes in a double or a gatefold, but just still a single album. I think you can get them probably Discogs or eBay, probably for $20, $25, probably, if they're available yet.
Cool.
But they are actually still touring, but under Trojan now. So they are out there.
I'm going to go through the boxes, but I think I actually have a Trojan tape or CD, because I definitely do remember them as Trojan.
Yeah, they were Trojan from 82 to 88, and then they became Lethal, then they became Talion, and they went back to Trojan.
Okay, gotcha.
That's too much.
You're up,
All
Carcass.
right. Well, you want to talk about too much? This is the most bizarre band I'm going to present today. This is Forca Macabra. Now you think that that's Portuguese, and even the name, which is, and Steve, help me out here, Aqui é o Inferno.
What is it?
It's AQUI E with a little little accent O, and then Inferno.
Accio Inferno.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know Accio.
Okay, don't be deceived. These guys are from Finland, and they sing in Portuguese. And they this band was formed by two Finnish punks, and they do something along the line of Sepultura, early Sepultura, Ratos de Paraíso, stuff like that. But they have a thrashing twist. If you can find this thing, grab it like a rabbit. This thing is a ferocious, punishing, raw energy. This is if Repulsion had a lot more double bass and not so much single kick, but this thing rips, and they're still playing shows today. Forca Macabra.
Nice pick.
Yeah,
I've heard that one. I just don't own it.
Yeah, it's worth finding for sure.
My first pick is, this is my favorite album from them. They have more than one, but this band is from Sweden, and it's the Krigsjolters, and this is Evolution. Yeah. Krigsjolters are crossover thrash, big punk influence in their sound. Early DRI, the Crucified, that kind of thing going on, but it's definitely thrash riffing, and it's a thrash album, but it's got that punk work ethic to it. So, and anyhow, they look like your typical thrash band from back in the 80s. This album came out, I believe, in like 88 or so. But you can find these fairly inexpensive. The original pressings even inexpensively. I found these all for well under $30. But I think this is the one I recommend. But because nobody's probably ever heard of them, I grabbed a couple other ones. But their covers just don't scream thrash, which is probably the reason nobody knows who they are. This looks like an 80s pop band or something. But
where are they from?
Switzerland.
Huh.
There was a lot of that going on, because there's a band called Indignation that has a similar vibe to the DRI crossover, and then Flame Skulls was another one. They were all from Scandinavia or Central Europe. This is a
7-inch single, a Christmas single for a Christmas Carol. KRIX.
Very thrash there.
Very thrash. Like I said, bit of a punk vibe, but yeah, they're a great band. If you can, look their stuff up. They're not real well known, but if you like underground, especially if you like crossover thrash, great stuff. Up again, Steve.
This one's not super obscure, but this is one that everybody should have. This is one of my all-time favorites. It's the debut from Mekong Delta.
Oh, that's a good one.
German thrash, kind of a super group. So it was started by the bassist, who was the founder of R Records, which this is obviously on. But you've also got members of Rage and of Living Death on here too. And they started out. This is the only pure thrash that they had. They kind of went the progressive route after this. More progressive, less thrash with each album. This one though is they do a really good job of giving you really technical thrash, but it's still really raw, kind of in the vein of early Coroner, where you get that real technical sound, but it's raw. And again, this just has always been a favorite of mine, and one that I always recommend to people looking for something away from the big four of Teutonic or U.S. thrash.
Damien Hair Metal brought up Lost Society from Finland. That's also a great band. No Absolution. I actually need that. I don't have that. I had it at one time on cassette tape, but I don't own that tape anymore. Anyhow, you're up again, Kev.
All right, this is kind of a comp, but this band had some demo stuff out in the 80s with Aftermath. Band out of Tucson. This actually was put on vinyl here about 2 years ago through Lost Realm Records, but it has the demo, and it's what it says is renowned for their distinctive thrash metal style. Aftermath was set to release the vinyl edition of their classic '88 album, Building Up to Meltdown, which this is, and it has 9 tracks. It has biography, lyrics, everything. But this one, like I say, it just came out. You can get this. It is available. But this was the one I was waiting for. This is by far the better one of the two, which Straight from Hell, which I also have. But, never really see anybody ever show any Aftermath from Tucson. I know we talked about it before, but I've never really seen anybody show any.
Yeah, there's their albums on CD, which got like a yellow cover.
See, there's 2 Aftermaths too, so that's a little confusing.
There's one from Indiana, I think. That's what it was confusing when you said Tucson. I thought,
well, there's one from Chicago.
Okay,
yeah, there's one from Chicago as well. Yep, and they're great too. I have their stuff as well.
They've been around for a while as well, and they're still active.
Yeah, they are. All right, you're up again, Carcass.
Okay, I'm going to stay in Scandinavia. Mesro. Then came The Killing. Man, this is from 1990, and on a bizarre. This is Active Records from London, and man, this thing is an absolute shredder. And it's in fact, I used to just look at the back cover, and that looks like Bay Area thrashers to me. And that has a very similar vibe. There were other bands like Cyclone and Target and that type, but this has a similar vibe to that. Technical, but still raw and thrashy. Really like this record if you can find. And this was relatively inexpensive, but I've never seen it reissued or whatever. So you'd almost have to find an original pressing. I think
they have a new one coming out as well.
Yeah, I think this was $20, $22, something like that. It was very reasonable, and the record's in good shape. So, anyway, Mesro.
Right on. Good choice.
Tony Flynn mentioned Coven, a little Northwest thrash. They were from Seattle area, I believe.
Yeah.
Someone said Hammerheart reissue. I'm not sure. Fraser, who Hammerheart reissued what? Mesro?
They've been reissuing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I see that. Well, wow.
They did all the Trouble stuff. They did a really good job.
Yeah, Mesro's releasing a new record. I'm all over that.
Yeah,
it might already be out. I'm pretty sure I have it.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyhow, I'm gonna go with a band from Portugal, Portuguese thrash metal, and this is Ramp. And the album is called Thoughts. This is a reissue. I don't have an original pressing. The reissue contains 3 bonus tracks. The original only had The original release only had 5 songs. This one has 9 songs. So
I don't know that one. That looks.
So you guys remember the guy from Portugal that used to do the Vinyl Community? He was actually on the DVD that we did, Metal Collectors DVD we did. Anyhow, he had the biggest Slayer collection. He was the biggest Slayer fan. The biggest Slayer collection. Anyhow, he's from Portugal, and him and I did a lot of trades back and forth before he disappeared into obscurity. Yeah. But he's the one who turned me on to these guys, and I know it's driving me crazy too that I can't remember it.
There's so many hidden gem bands down there that it's unreal.
But anyhow, this is great. If you could find this, it is a reissue. Oddly enough, look at the logo on there. Universal Records. So it's not like it's something you can't find somewhere.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, it's definitely old school 80s thrash. I think the original album came out in 1991. I'm pretty sure that the bonus tracks, if I recall correctly, came out before it was like the demo tracks they recorded before it. But yeah, really good stuff. I haven't found anything else by him, but great band from Portugal.
Awesome.
You're up again, Steve.
Yeah, I'll stick with Germany for one more because this is the other band that kind of gave me the idea because I've been listening to this quite a bit. This is a band I knew their second album because it kind of made its way in the CD and the cassette traders, but I had never heard the debut, and I ran across a copy at a local store of a reissue of it. This is a Product of Imagination from Paradox.
From Germany. That is a great record.
This is 87. This is fantastic. As opposed to all the other Teutonic bands, they were going more for the U.S. sound. A lot of Bay Area here, a lot of Slayer. The singer was originally in what was it? Maybe a Venom cover band. So you kind of hear a little bit of that too, but definitely some Slayer, a little bit of Testament and Metallica in there. But kind of they kind of add their own flair to it too. And this is a fantastic album from beginning to end. There's not a bad minute on here.
Yeah, those first three Paradox are just absolute stone cold killers. They're poser disposers deluxe.
I think they're coming out with a new album as well, or have.
Yeah, they got back together. It's the singer's the only steady guy. Those first three or so are 10-star records. I can't say I haven't heard any of the new stuff, but
yeah, I just read about it here a couple days ago, or maybe last week, about that new Paradox.
Go ahead, Kev.
All right.
Good.
I'm going to go up north to my neighbors in Canada. In fact, we're going to go to Thunder Bay, and we're going to show some Rectify with Fragments of Anger. It's come out in 2017. This actually has a former member that was in Annihilator, Matt Hanchuk. And, I mean, just straight forward heavy thrash, but this is their first release. They just released their new one, which was called Hybridized, which is only out on CD. But these, I probably should have picked one maybe a little, which is easier to get. I don't know if you can get this anymore, but these are kind of hard.
Rectify.
But they're on the Doc Gator label, so that tells you right there that I think they're only 100 of these were made. But anyway,
they have like 5 albums out now, or 4 albums out?
5. In fact, they got a new one coming out in 2026 called Dissecting the Leech.
David White and Greg Christian are in Rectify 2, I think.
Yep.
Cool. All right, you're up again, Carcass.
Oh, shoot. How about Ritual Carnage? I Infidel. Anybody ever heard of them?
Nope.
That's another. This is another Scattered to the Four Winds band. The band itself, the 2 guitarists and the drummer are from Japan, and the bass player and vocalist is from Florida. So I don't know how.
Don't they have a couple albums out? I think I have one of theirs on CD.
They have 3
albums. I
albums.
can't remember which one though.
They have 3 albums out. The first 2, he's more of a gurgling and gargling growler. It's like death thrash, but this he almost sounds like Sean Killian. And I really like this one. I really like this one. I Infidel by Ritual Carnage. If you can find it, it's on Osmosis Productions. So usually they have stuff in their back catalog and they reissue things all the time. But this thing is an absolute shredder, start to finish. All killer, no filler. Highly recommended. Ritual Carnage, I Infidel.
Perfect. Well, I'm gonna go Canada too, since Kevin did. This is another old school band, but this band actually was more of a '90s band, and they really didn't get a whole lot of recognition. But this is Rammer.
Good band.
I almost pulled that one.
Is their Cancer album? I mean, they've got several EPs, and I think they got 2 full lengths and 3 EPs and a bunch of 7-inch singles and stuff. But it kind of pushes a bit towards death metal at times, but it still has, both feet pretty firmly planted in the thrash metal sound. The machine gun kind of riffing and that hammerhead rhythm section, beating you over the head. But the vocals are pretty extreme on it.
And the bass player and the drummer used to be the foundation for Toxic Holocaust when Joel was still playing guitar. That was the bassist and the drummer.
I found that album out of the blue. I mean, I would never even expect it up in Fargo, especially with the music they get up there. But I found that and I got it for $10.
Nice, good deal. It's a great album. It's really, really well done.
Because you had sent me a couple of rammers, and I knew I was missing one, and that was the one I found.
Yeah, and then there's one other one they released too. That's the last full length album that they released. That it's bizarre because it's a self release. It's what they did was they had a bunch of extra covers of one of the albums. They took the glue off, turned it inside out, silk screened the front and back covers, and put the album out themselves. Really hard to find. It came out on Record Store Day in Canada years ago.
Didn't they do those 7-inch like Bloody Knuckles and Spikes or Speed and Spikes 7 inches?
They might have been on one of those. I think so.
Yeah, no, they are. Yeah, they are. Yeah.
With Witch Haven or somebody.
Yeah, I actually have one of them right there. Yeah,
and they did a 12-inch split, I think, with Ramming Speed or somebody else.
Yeah, I've got everything by them. That's the only thing I pulled, but.
Yeah, you can hear. I mean, the earlier Toxic Holocaust, you can definitely hear that rhythm section when Joel was still playing guitar.
Yeah, it's here. I grabbed the other one just to show it. Might as well. But this is the self-released one. You can see it's on brown cardboard, and
that's cool.
And then it's got the little
they stand
78 of 100 of them, and it's funny because if you open. First of all, you can tell it's kind of DIY because and it's not just my copy; they're all kind of like this. But you can see the glue comes out here. You can see where the cardboard tore a little bit here when they tried to pull it apart because they pulled the cardboard apart and turned it inside out. But then if you look at, I don't know how well it's going to show on video, but
you can see the inside. Sure can.
Yeah, the original EP, the EP that they had extra covers of on the inside, and it came with a little insert too. But yeah. DIY, man. I was really happy to find a copy for a good price. I bought it years ago, though. I can't tell you if it's still available now, but I got it on Discogs. You're up again, Steve.
So this next one, LA Thrashers, they came out in the 84, 85, and their first album was like 87. It's The Taunt. They ended up changing their names based on a lawsuit, and the band split up during that whole fight. And the singer, Don Crosby, started a new band called Fear of God.
Yep.
And this is a 10-star record. It's gothic thrash. It's its own sound. It doesn't sound like anything else. Unfortunately, she died this was 90 or 91, and she was dead like 5 years later. Really bad alcoholic.
Yeah.
Real dark, though. Highly recommend checking. The Taunt stuff is really good too, but the Taunt just sounds like LA thrash. This has like this gothic feel that kind of changes the sound. Definitely worth grabbing.
Fraser Dawn said, "Steve, pour it out. Got to see it. I don't know what he's talking about. Sorry, I must have missed something."
Rui, thank you.
There you go.
Rui, that's his name. We couldn't think of it.
Yes, Rui, that's it. He was such a nice guy, and then he just stopped doing videos, stopped answering emails
for a while, and he would message, and then he just vanished. Yeah,
he vanished. He doesn't return emails or texts or anything else. So I don't know what happened, but hopefully he's okay. He did get a hold of me once, but not that long after he disappeared. But I haven't heard from him again in years. So anyhow, you're up, Kev.
I will say real quick, Kev, for the Fear of God. Be careful look online before you grab one of the reissues of it, though. MOV did a reissue of it, and it was like a raw mix. It wasn't the actual studio released album, and a lot of people complained, so they actually reissued it like a year later with the correct mix from 91. So there's 2 mixes out there on MOV.
All
right, interesting.
Well, I'm going to go down into South America with some Farscape.
Fire Escape.
Farscape. Yep.
Farscape, like a TV show.
What is Primitive Blitzkrieg? Their third album, from I believe it was 2013, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they have 4 albums out, but just straightforward Brazilian thrash. I mean, if you're familiar with Brazilian thrash, I mean, this is prime example. But this is limited to like 500 copies. I'm sure there's still some out there, but definitely check them out. Good band here.
Good choice. Sentinel Beast was another obscure female. Didn't
Yep. They were on one of the comps, one of the Metal Massacres.
Yep.
Yep.
You're up again, Carcass. What you got?
Okay, well, Century.
Wait. Let me guess. Is it? Don't take a guess.
You'll never guess this.
I was gonna say tentacles. Ostrich tentacles.
Tentacles?
Yeah. Is it ostrich tentacles?
Hang on. Oh no. Well, I'll wait. We're on a time crunch.
Testicles.
No. Century Media put these out about I don't know 8-10 years ago. Massacre from France, and it basically description is spot on. It says essential 90s death thrash violence from France for fans of Sepultura, Possessed, and early Morbid Angel. Not the techno Morbid Angel, but early Morbid Angel. And if you don't have Final Holocaust, you could get any one of the first 4, and they're all just absolute stunners. They're just ripping, angry thrash. Yeah, that one. It's not like that at all. Nothing like that. No keyboards were abused in this record here. So Massacre, Final Holocaust, I think that's the best of the first 4, but they're all great. If you can find them, and like I said, they're on Century Media. I think they're all red vinyl, but kind of fun. But really, really a little obscure. But man, once you hear it, you're never going to forget it.
This is one that's not that obscure. But this is another band from Sweden.
I almost pulled that.
And the reason I pulled this one was because I just listened to it the other day. As like before we even came up with the topic of the show, so it was still sitting right in front of my pile. I was like, okay, that's an obvious one, so I'm going to grab it. But yeah, this is a great album. Cool band picture in the back.
It's super technical without being techy. You know what I mean? Does that make any sense?
Yes, it
maintains the raw thrashiness, but still, it's just like, whoa, what did he just do there? You know what I mean? They add elements that isn't really normal in typical Bay Area thrash, but it's thrash.
Kind of has at times it has that kind of like the very first Believer album kind of has that techie to it, but it's still very thrash.
A lot of downbeat ostinato, a lot of weird syncopated rhythms and stuff, but it's a balls to the wall, like Accept would say. It's
kind of a cool cover too. It looks like an eyeball, but it's actually a picture of space, and I suppose that's supposed to be the Earth in the middle there.
And isn't that their only full length? They just like did this thing, blew it out, and then just disappeared.
Yep.
And
it's on Noise Records. This is actually a promo copy with a little gold stamp on it. But
I found a copy about 6-7 years ago.
Yeah, that's on the boat going to the island. I really like that record.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It should be on everybody's list. But anyhow, what's up, Metal?
Somebody mentioned Angel Into the Dark Past. That's very similar to that Midas Touch.
Angel Dust debut is another 10-star thrash record.
Yeah,
another band that went prog right after that, and kind of. I still like the later Angel stuff too, but nothing's as good as that first record.
Yeah, the first two were super thrashy, and then that third one they went keyboarded and the whole business.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, from Germany.
That one there was what album was that one? That was Border Reality. That was their third album.
What's the one with the sacrificial table and the warrior on the cover? The Warrant one.
I know
what you're talking about, but I actually have it. I just don't remember the name of it.
Yeah, I've got the first 2 Warrants.
I have the front cover, but nothing on the back. That's the way Rob sold it to me. He goes, I'll never be able to sell this. Take it. And I'm like, but the record is in such great shape. But it's just the front cover. The back has been ripped off.
Oh, that's weird.
That's going to the island too.
Right on.
So Kevin brought it to Brazil. So did you just go? No, Scott just went, right?
Yeah, you're up, Steve.
Okay. So I'm going to keep it in Brazil with Holocausto. brutal album. It's Campo de Exterminio, or Extermination Camp. This one got a lot of heat when it came out because it was the songs are about the atrocities of the concentration camps, but they also touch on Vietnam. They also touch on Black September, which was where was that? Jordan. So it wasn't just on the concentration camps. Dark, brutal Brazilian thrash from, I think this was 87 when this one came out.
I was going to say 87 or 88.
It's one of the Cogamela bands. They're from Belo Horizonte. They're from the same scene as Sarcófago, as Sepultura, and the next band I'm about to show as well. Fantastic, though. It's hard to get this one, though, because Discogs keeps banning it because of the name. So it is what it is, but just killer Brazilian thrash.
Well, that sucks. It won't sell it. Well, we're gonna stay in Brazil yet with Atomica.
Dude, that thing
That's a great record. That's another one I almost pulled. I only have it on CD though.
What's the one with the yellow cover?
That's the one I have on CD. Yeah. I can't remember the name of it.
Classic.
What's the name of the album?
Disturbing the Noise. It's from '91. Their third album. So
that
band's
thing
been around since mid '80s. So, but this is absolutely a great album. I mean, if you see it, pick it up. I think I picked this up over at, if I'm not mistaken, it was either, I think it was over at Shadow Kingdom. He goes through that phase where it's just nothing but extreme, and then he gets a whole bunch of good thrash, and but that was one of the bunches there. But yeah, definitely a great album.
Yeah, all their records are good too.
Tanner Poppet checking in. What's up, Tanner? Been a while since we've heard from him.
We're still under an hour. Just going to keep swinging it.
Yeah, we haven't even hit 5 yet.
Oh, we haven't.
We're going to be at 5. This next one is your 5th one. So.
Oh, it is. Ooh,
yeah.
I better make it a good one. How about Phantasm?
I almost pulled that. I just listened to it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Phantasm Wreckage. Caden from Hyrax, Gene Hoglan, Ron McGovney, the original bass player from Metallica.
Yeah.
I think the front side is all demo stuff, and the second side is live. In Phoenix, Arizona, 1987.
Yeah, Gene's only on the demo though, and he's not in any of the pictures.
Right, but this thing is an absolute crusher too. And once again, Caton has this way of just going wherever he wants and pulling out just killer thrash. That Nefarious and the Project is a real ripper. His new record, Faster Than Death, is a real ripper. I mean,
I think, and he's already out of Nefarious, unfortunately.
Oh, that's too bad. But yeah, Phantasm. How about that? Fine.
And I just asked him personally because I saw pictures posted of the band, and it was like he wasn't in any pictures. And I'm like, "Hey, are you out of Notorious?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I just couldn't focus on 2 bands." He goes, "So I just need to keep my focus on Hyrax." So.
Yeah, probably not a bad idea, but that Phantasm's gettable. In fact, Born Late Records has a copy. I've seen it out in the wild, and it just, for whatever reason, doesn't move. And I've tried to sell it to people, and they're just like, "Yeah,
I put it at a local store for like $12. I don't even think they knew what it was,
Yeah. Well, I knew what it was, and I grabbed it and in fact, I bought it from Caton at this was a show in probably, early 90s. It was when the Harrison brothers were still in the band, and they did a show at an infamous place in Houston called Walters on Washington. And the pit was so wild that there were literally people swinging from the rafters, and it was insanity. And I bought it from him there, and he signed it. So
yeah, I tried to buy my copy from his site, but they sold out pretty quick, and I just thought I was ass out, and then ran across to the local store.
If anybody needs one, I know where you can find one, and it's going to be $20 to $25 plus shipping, and I think it's clear vinyl.
Yeah, I think they all are, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but anyway, let me know.
Right on. My next one is actually it was on Metal Blade, or one of Metal Blade's sub labels back in the 80s, but I think it came out in 1990 or 89, somewhere in that area. But I've got multiple reasons for showing this. For one, I love the music and I love this band, but this is Eviction. The World Is Hours Away.
Oh yeah, that is a good ripper.
It's kind of crossover. It does have some of that crossover sound to it, but it's it's not like Agnostic Front or I don't know if anybody's familiar with the Crucified. Their first Crucified album was very much a crossover album. The second album still had some of the crossover, but it was more thrash. That's what this is. It's more thrash. If you get their demos and some of the stuff they released before this, it's got a little more of the punk edge. But regardless, it's a freaking fantastic album. I'm just going to be honest. I have an original pressing. This pressing, which came out a couple years ago on, I think it's Heaven and Hell Records. It doesn't sound any different to me. So I don't know that they did anything to the audio at all. It sounds almost identical, but Brutal Planet just reissued this, and Rob Caldwell did the mastering. Oh my gosh. It sounds freaking amazing. I don't know how he does it sometimes, but man, it sounds amazing. So anyhow, if you're interested in ordering it, you can pre-order it now from boonsoverstock.com. And yeah, Eviction, The World Is Hours Away, and there's only 200 copies pressed. I know that for a fact.
And that's one of those records back in the day when you saw that cover, you knew that what you were getting.
Yeah, you knew it was thrash.
You still could rely on the cover art, and that's one of those things. We can't afford Ed Repka, but this will be good enough.
Yep. And I like the hand drawn cover art. If you look real closely down in the thing, you can see the Mickey Mickey Rat in there, because that was their mascot, was that Mickey Rat guy. So, matter of fact, I have sitting right here one of their original pins from back then. I traded pins with the guitar player, if I can actually get it to show.
Yeah,
Mickey Rat.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. So.
Oh man, somebody said Visitor from SoCal.
That's a good one. So now, yep. Eviction, The World Is Hours Away.
So I already mentioned this band, or where this band came from. This is another of the Cogamela bands. These guys were a lot more mature. It still has that brutal Brazil thrash sound. This is a little more mature though. These guys are better writers. They had been in the scene for a while. This is a band called Mist, and this is their debut album, Phantasmagoria. It still has the darkness or that rawness of the Brazilian sound. It's a lot cleaner though, a lot better produced. It was still recorded at the same studio as Sepultura, Sarcophago. These guys were more mature though. You have the singer from Chakal, and Chakal was another of the big Belo Horizonte bands, and then Mayhem, the Brazilian Mayhem, got together and they did this record, and it's fantastic. This is one I highly recommend to everybody. Holocausto, Sarcophago, they all kind of got around the world after Sepultura got big. Unfortunately, the Mist never did, and I think this is one of the best of the Brazilian thrash albums. So, Phantasmagoria, and this was reissued by Grey Haze Records. You can find these for like $25, and Grey Haze has been reissuing a lot of the more obscure Brazilian stuff. So they've been Sarcophago, the Holocausto, and all for like $25-$30. So,
hey, Carcass, Blackmore Rules.
I saw the note. I'd be okay with an open CD box version of that.
Cool.
Yep.
Who's up? I don't remember who just went.
Kevin.
We're gonna go across seas and Greece with Flames.
Flames. I remember you showing them before. Yep.
Yeah. These guys have been around since like '85. I mean, this band is kind of new to me about 8-9 years ago, but the original one came out on the FM Records label. I think what was it, 91, 88 actually. But Flaga actually re-released these a number of years back. They put out this one, Made in Hell, Merciless Slaughter, and I think one other one, which was, I think it was Lost Prophecy. But yeah, third album, I believe. But again, limited. But I'm almost sure you can still find them out there. But definitely check them out.
Infernal Majesty. Yep, I know them too.
Oh man, that's a ripper. Well, I say
I
that
thought about that one too.
Yeah, one of them is really great, and then they just sort of taper off. Then they got back on the saddle again.
Yeah, I just have their debut. I know they have a bunch of records.
All right, where are we at? Oh, Carcass, you're up again. You're on number. I believe we're on number 6 now. Yep.
Yeah.
So.
How about this? Merciless Death. Evil.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
They actually released this DIY, and then they got Ed Repka to redo the cover, and well, there it is. But when this thing came out, I thought it was something from the 80s, and then I looked at the back, and they all look like they're from the 80s, and then I looked at the date, and it was like 2001 or 2. So
yep. And what label's that on?
That the old Heavy Artillery. In fact,
yeah, Heavy Artillery. Yeah, they released some great stuff before they went under.
Yeah, you can ask Shannon Fry about how he feels about them. I feel about the same. I think Warbringer. I think Warbringer released one record, and then they got picked up by a bigger label. And then I'm trying to think. Vector was on Heavy Artillery for a moment, and then oh doggone it, Witch something. Yeah. But anyway.
I kind of like the original album cover, as horrible as it is.
Merciless Death?
Yeah, it's a really bad album cover.
Yeah, it's really terrible. But yeah. I really, man, this thing still holds up. And if you don't have a copy, and they sort of gravitated to their original premise, they were going to become the new Possessed. And by their third album, they had become Possessed, literally and figuratively, maybe. But this thing is an all-out thrash assault. I mean, this is white Reeboks and tucked-in jeans. This thing is a ripper, top notch, top 2 or 3 on my list.
I don't think they're together anymore, Shannon. I think they fell apart in like 2015 or 16. They weren't around together that long.
Corporate America and marriage and kids and all that stuff, which gets a lot of the bands. But
someone said it was Fueled by Fire on that label too. It might have been. I don't remember now.
Maybe so. Maybe with an EP, but that's another one.
That's another great record. I thought about pulling that, but I thought Scott would pull it.
In fact, when they got signed to a bigger label from them, the label said you're going to have to trim down. You have to lose a little weight because we think you're too big. You know, they look like Crowbar playing thrash with bullet belts on. And anyway, they were told to lose weight. And they were just like, I don't know about that. But anyway, oh, yeah, it was Metal Blade. Sure enough. I don't know if Brian was just kidding or if he was really concerned about their health. I don't know. Who knows? We'll have to ask him.
Right on. All right. I'm going to go with one. This is a band out of Pennsylvania as well. Evictions was out of
that record.
Evictions out of Pittsburgh. This band is out of, gosh, these guys were from like that area where all the, what are those people that live in the horse and buggies live up there in Pennsylvania?
Oh, the Pennsylvania Dutch?
Harrisburg?
Yeah.
Harrisburg?
I don't know, but they're in that Philadelphia, that part of
they're in Amish.
But yeah, there you go. That's Amish was the word. But this is Thresher, Totally Possessed. This is one of my all-time favorite albums. I freaking love this thing. It was originally only released on cassette. It's been re-released on CD a couple times. The vinyl is unfortunately nearly impossible to find. I saw one sell on eBay for $400+, which is crazy.
What did he do? He did like 100 of each of them, right?
He did. I think he did 200 of this.
Yeah, they sold out quick, though.
They sold out very quick, but they only put out 2 albums. So this is their first album that they put out. Like I said, it originally came out on cassette only. This cover art, I actually was involved in doing this one. This was rough because nobody had the original art. So they're like, you have to blow it up from a cassette to 12 by 12. I was like, that's insane. But we got lucky and we found the guy who did the original painting. So we ended up getting the original painting. So this actually looks better than it did on the original cassette. It's artwork. But yeah, it's a hand painted. Even the Thresher logo was hand painted on there. But yeah, it's really great thrash metal. But they released 2 albums. Here's the other one. It's called Here I Am. This one you can actually probably find a little easier on, especially if you're looking for it on CD. This one here is really hard to find. Unfortunately, I like them both, but I don't know. It's hard for me to pick a favorite. This one actually does have a bonus track too from the compilation of a song called My Reality, which is also great. bit of groove in their sound, which say Steve here and there, but
Yeah.
I mean it was 80.
It's
Gosh,
really
remember what
good,
came out?
though.
I think it was like
I got a
88.
CDR.
It came out originally.
I got a
87, 88.
CDR of the second record, and that was my introduction to them. Like 6 or 7 years before that, those CDs came or the LPs came out. But
okay,
yeah,
update on Heavy Artillery from Tip Fam, and he's right. Enforcer and Ex Mortis were on there, but Fueled by Fire was not.
yeah, that's fine. So this
Cool.
next, oh, sorry.
Go ahead. We went through 6, so we're on. What
No,
we got?
This is number 6 for me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So this next one is a band that should be huge as all the other Teutonic thrash bands, just because they were one of the first. They got together in '81. They had like 7 demos before this record came out. You've got what was it? Sabine, was that her name? Scott?
In Clausen.
Sabina Clausen, Holy Moses.
This is Holy Moses. The guys from Creator said that these guys were kind of one of their inspirations when they started the band.
I love that band, and nobody knows who they are.
They're fantastic.
Sabina's vocals are brutal early on, and I've heard some of the demos from the early '80s. It was almost early black metal in like '82. It's crazy how brutal they were, and her voice kind of cleaned up over the years. It was still pretty brutal on this one, but this is just a fantastic album, and you can find this. I found a sealed copy of this 10 years ago for like $6. For some reason, they just never got big like the other thrash bands, even though they were from the same scene. They were just as big in the day. They just didn't blow up. Like maybe they didn't have the look of Creator or the look of Sodom, but
fantastic stuff.
Just as good.
Good stuff.
You can get the Master of Disaster album on Boone's Overstock. You can get the CD for $5. You can get the vinyl for $12.
Mm.
I'll put a link in the description for everybody, so in case anybody's looking for it. But yeah, they're great.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yep, again.
Well, I'm gonna go up into Canada again with Raider.
Raider, good one. I have that.
Is their second album, more of a death thrash band. Not really full on death metal vocals, but I mean it's deathy enough that it's understandable for me at least. But yeah, this is their second release. In fact, this is the only one on vinyl.
Excuse me.
And this came out in 2023, so they've been around since early 2020s, I believe. 2018,
Australia checking in.
Their first demo, but definitely check this out. I was introduced to Guardian of the Fire, and then this came out. I haven't heard anything about new music from them in a while, though. So, but good stuff.
Carcass, got time for one more, and I got time for one more, and then we're done.
Okay, I got plenty. Razor, Open Hostility. As much as I love, what is it, Violent Termination, this thing, boy, don't sleep on it, and people wave it off, and they weren't even going to release it. I think this is actually a special pressing. It's on some obscure Big Fist Music. No, that was 91, and then War on Music 2009. That's when I found this. Century Media did buy the catalog, and they reissued all these with demo tracks, live tracks, and so forth. So look for that on CD. But this thing is it's a Punisher from start to finish. It's got Road Gunner, Red Money, Free Lunch, Iron Legions, End of the War, I Disagree. And the reason why this thing gets waved off is because it's got a drum machine. It's kind of like what was that Priest record that had all drum machine? And I guarantee you, if you try to hear the fact that it's mechanical drum, or not mechanical drums, but a programmed drum, you can't tell the difference. And I've had people listen to it, and they're like, "Really? That's a drum machine?" And I'm like, "Yeah." In fact, they used something my son used to use. It was a MTV beat generator. And just a simple program, but this thing is an all-out assault on your ears. Open Hostility by Razor.
So it was Ram It Down, 1988. Program drums.
I mentioned Realm. I totally forgot about Realm. I would have grabbed them. And then Peter Steelfan mentioned Best Wishes from Cro-Mags, one of the great crossover albums. That album is so good.
Yeah, both those Realm albums are great. I kind of put, I mention them all the time actually because I kind of put them in the same box with Toxic and Agent Steel and bands that sound like that. So,
and Cro-Mags isn't really underground though. I mean, Cro-Mags had a big following.
Yeah, they did.
But they started.
I was really trying to keep this to stuff that's really really obscure, and not only really obscure, but stuff that you could actually find, because there's no sense showing stuff you can't get. So, but anyhow,
Cro-Mags, I don't know if it's been reissued, but originals are like $150.
I'm going to change my last choice. I was going to show Entropy, which is fantastic Canadian thrash metal. This has never been released on vinyl as far as I can tell, but it was released on CD just recently. This is an original indie pressing. I've had this thing for decades, but so I'm going to change it to this. This is Thrash Metal Attack. This is New Renaissance Records. Most of the bands on here are unknown. Very few. New Renaissance Records put out lots of great stuff.
Is that the one with Gamacide on it?
Gammacide's not on here. It has Blood Feast is on here though. Wow. Some of the bands that are known are Anvil Bitch. They're pretty well known. Postmortem, they're pretty well known. Blood Feast, pretty well known. And War God were somewhat well known. But the rest of these bands, Rabid, Defcon, Necrophagia.
I do know them.
Necrophagia from Dolan's.
Yep. Necropolis, Aggression, Hell Witch, Des Exult, DESEXULT.
Yeah, they're from Houston.
Okay. Wehrmacht. I never can pronounce that name.
Wehrmacht they were pretty good too. Wehrmacht.
Yeah.
Wehrmacht. They have a couple albums. They're really good. I actually almost pulled one of their records.
Aren't they? Milwaukee.
I'm not sure.
Cool cover too. I like the cover art of this one. It's very 80s thrash.
I'm sure they didn't get paid if it's on New Renaissance.
No, I'm sure they didn't. We have a very good friend of ours that all of us know really well who was quote signed to New Renaissance Records, and that unfortunately was a bad experience for him and them.
I know a couple people that were signed to New Renaissance that had nothing but them, and there was one other label that was like that. But I just want to show these two real quick because I pulled them too.
Go ahead.
Detritus.
Yes, I was going to pull them too.
UK thrash. Think
and that album in particular.
Vocals of Zentrix. Fantastic album. I like both, but this is my favorite.
Do you have that album? Carcass.
I have it on CD, and then I have the one with the blue cover, which is a major fall off from that one. Yeah. And then the third one is just like, what happened?
Well, the third one was 20 years later.
Oh, because it's like the whole band quit.
Yeah, the first two were from what 90 and 92, something like that.
Yeah.
And then the third one was from like 2020, maybe.
Something like that, yeah.
And then from the Cleveland area, Destructor.
That thing.
For those of you that like the Hell Awaits era Slayer, kind of what they were going for with this one. This is a 10-star record. And luckily, this finally got reissued too, because this is another one that was hitting the $100+ range.
I think they're either they have a new one out, or
what's that?
I think Destructor has one out, or they're coming out with a new one.
Yeah, they got back to they've been putting stuff out again. They put one out a couple years ago. I never listened to it though. This first record though is a must-have. It's just
if it's Steve, I'll just give you a warning. If it's the one with the S&M girl on the cover, just run away.
Oh no, I'm for it. You know, this was one of those. I collect the Auburn stuff, and this was the hardest one to find, other than Black Death. I still haven't found a nice original of Black Death.
Do you have Forever in Leather?
What band is that? Is that the name of the band?
No, Destructor.
Oh, no. I just have this one.
Okay. I may have an extra copy,
and
you need it. And you need it.
Right on. All right, so I guess that's it. That was a lot of
1 hour
thrash
on
bands.
the dot.
Hopefully everybody enjoyed that. We had quite a few people watching. I really appreciate everybody who watched and commented. I didn't get every comment up. There's even more. Silence.
Is the Detritus still available, Scott?
Yes. Let me take a look.
Or is that
no? It's probably.
I'm going to see them in January.
Detritus?
No, Violence.
Oh,
Those guys get so left off the whole. Even the Bay Area thrash talk, nobody talks about Violence.
Whiplash is the other one that's like that. That's just as good as a lot of those other bands and never gets brought up.
Yeah, the Boone's Overstock has Detritus on CD. Let's see if they have the vinyl too. They have the vinyl. They have all the vinyl. They have all 3 albums on vinyl, and they have all 3 albums on CD. So
there you go.
Right.
I would recommend the first one for sure.
I love the first 2. I like the third one too. It's just if you're expecting thrash, it's not thrash. It's more of a straightforward kind of doomy metal album. But
yeah,
I'll put a link below for anybody who's looking for that Detritus album. But yeah, it's fantastic. And the artwork was done by on that first album cover was what's that guy's name? Rodney Matthews. That's a Rodney Matthews cover. So if you look really closely, it's that flaming sword. There's all these like demons around it that are really freaking cool looking. Yeah, you see
the demons are on the edges. It's really good artwork.
Yeah. Is that a what pressing is that?
That's the one. That's a retroactive one.
Oh, okay, cool. Because
I wish I had an original. I know Aaron has originals. He's the only one I know that has them, though. He was the one that turned me on to the band originally, even before you told me about him. He showed copies of them probably 10 years ago. You know,
Aaron's Jesus Metal video is one of the funniest videos I've ever seen in my life. I love that video. If you're offended by cussing, don't watch it. But if you're not offended and you have a good sense of humor, oh my gosh, it's so funny.
So speaking of the artwork on that record, is that the same guy that did Forbidden and Forbidden Evil, or Twisted into Form? And is that the same guy?
That was Rodney.
I don't know. He's done a lot of album covers. I mean, he did Nazareth, No Mean City. Trying to think, he's done so many. He did the first 2.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, he's done hundreds of record covers.
Since we're over our hour.
Yeah, we are. And I got to get going. So anyhow, well, all right, let's get going. So I appreciate everybody watching. Thanks a ton. I'm gonna find the outro crap here. So again, pardon us for last week for not being here. It was 100% my fault. I could have been here, but I don't know, man. Throwing up really throws you for a loop.
Well, that's pretty heavy metal, especially your Slayer show.
That would have been. I wonder if we could have gone viral if I would have thrown up on video.
Probably would have boosted our numbers,
right?
Isn't that what it's all about? We do this for numbers.
Yep. So anyhow, all right. Well, that's it. So you can find Steve. I'm going to put up these little things if I can find him. Eventually, we're going to have a new intros too. Work on it. But you can find Steve on YouTube at Harmless Rebel 868. Anything else you want to add to that, Steve?
You can Instagram harmless_rebel.
Right on. You can find Kevin on YouTube at Old Metal Rocker 66.
And over at Facebook and Metal Uprising.
Right on. You can find John on Instagram at Carcass John Art. John is also on Facebook. And he also has another show he does. What's the other show you do? Because that's where our sponsor came from.
Choices Podcast Official.
And then you also do the radio show on
Rock. I do The Crypt, which is a deep dive into heavy metal and extreme music. And I also do Carcass John's Alter Ego, which could be anything. In fact, Kevin, if you can tune in tonight about 10 o'clock, I've got a mix of old and new, and try and decide, is it a new band or an old band?
All right.
Right on.
Right on.
You can find me on Instagram at No Life to Metal. You can find me on YouTube at No Life to Metal or Scott Waters. And that's it. So for episode number 289 of the Metal Roundtable, you know how we do it. Metal will prevail.